In this video, we're going to look at how to update the starter theme content. For example, the logo, the text here, the button, the images, etc. Right now we have our home page and we have our blog page and we have a blog post page. And if we click on uncategorized, we do have a template here for our archives and categories. We click on the logo here to come back. In the last video, we looked at the menus here. So I showed you the top menu, how to customize that, and how to create new menus and add them anywhere into your page, for example, in the footer. You may have noticed that I mentioned a pricing page. That's going to come on in a later video, but in this video, we're going to look at the starter theme content. So let's come back here. We'll start with our home page. So we'll look at the home page, and I'm just going to open this in a new window. And I did that by clicking my middle mouse button, the scroll button. So if you click on that, that'll open a new window, or you can right click and click on open link a new tab. So here we see the SeedProd page builder. Now we saw that a little bit in the previous video with the menus. And right now we are inside the home page template. So this is a page and the conditions are applied to the front page. So this only is shown on the front page. It doesn't affect any other page on the website. Now you notice that it has a header here and it has a footer here, and these are outlined in green, and these are actually templates that are included in this automatically. To modify these, you can actually click on the edit template cogwheel here, or you can come back to the list and you can see the header and footer here and edit the design. So let's go ahead and actually change the logo here. I can't do it on this template because we're on the homepage template, but we can click the cogwheel here to go to the header template, and now we can modify this. And if we check back here under the conditions, we'll notice that the header is applied to the entire website. If we click on edit conditions, you can see the conditions listed right here, and it shows us where the header is included, excluded, or custom. So we can actually update this. Right now it's on the entire site, but you could technically, and this is where the flexibility of SeedProd comes in, you could technically have a custom header for any page or any section or any type of combination of these post pages or archives. So for example, if you want a custom header for your front page, you could select this and it'll only show on the front page, but you could create, for example, a blog header and select the blog page and it'll only show on those pages or the posts as well. Let's change this back to entire websites. And if you didn't understand the conditions that we just talked about, don't worry, we'll talk about this more in depth in upcoming videos. Let's come back to our page builder and I'm going to click on this image right here for the logo. Now this is a block, and SeedProd comes with all of these blocks here on the left hand side. We have template tags, so these are posts and post content and post info, lots of options there. If we come down, we have the standard blocks for headline, text, lists, buttons, images, videos, and columns. We have advanced for giveaways and countdowns and animated headlines. We can put an opt-in form and icons. We have so many different options here with SeedProd. We also have some WooCommerce options here if you have an online store. So you can add an add to cart button, a checkout, cart, etc. Now these are grayed out for me currently because you need to have WooCommerce installed, which I don't currently have. We can also come down here under widgets, and these include all of the WordPress widgets that are built in. So if you want to show, for example, the WordPress search, we can drop that in, and here we can see an example of that. I'm going to delete this for right now, and all of these blocks you're able to delete and move and completely customize this however you want. Now that we've discussed blocks, let's take a quick look at the sections here. Sections are pre-made sections that you can import into your website. So for example, headers, hero, call to action, FAQ, features, and footers, any save templates, your testimonials, and your favorites. So for example, we could look at headers, and then we could look at one of these, and I could import this, and we could see this header right here where it has a logo, this section, and a menu. If I just save this, this is going to look ugly, but you can see how this now is updated, and that whole top section is now our header template, and that applies across our whole website like we've already discussed. We don't want that, so let's delete this section. That's the purple area here. We can also see a row that's blue, and then we have the blocks which are orange. So we want to delete the whole thing that we just imported, which is the section, to get rid of that. Let's select this image and we'll update that here on the left hand side. So here we have the content for the image, and the image itself is this little leaf icon for SeedProd. Let's go ahead and we'll select our own image, and I'll select the little logo here that I made earlier. We'll import that, and there we go. That looks nice. Now you have different options here, such as the alt text, the size. You can change from pixels to percentage. So that'll be the percentage of the container. So this whole column that it's in. So for example, if I did percentage and I change this to 100, that's 100% width. If we did 50, it's 50% of the container that it's in, 25%, etc. If we don't like something we did, we can actually click the undo button here to go back as far as we want. I'll go ahead and leave this here. We also have the link. I'm going to link this back to the front page. You can click the cogwheel here to open that link in a new window or add a no follow if you like. We also have templates. So this will add, for example, borders around your images. Now that doesn't make much sense for a logo, but some of your other pictures it might. You have advanced settings for shadows, image borders, spacing, attributes. So here's where you can add your custom CSS classes. So I could add, for example, a logo class or maybe a custom logo. And then I can actually attach that to this image and we can add some custom CSS in the custom CSS section. I'm going to remove this though for now. And we have device visibility for desktop and mobile options. Next, let's click on our menu here on the right side and see what options we have. So we can change the font size. So for example, I can make it a little bigger if I like, or smaller. We'll put this somewhere around 20. We can change the space between if you want more space. I think it's fine where it's at. We have a divider. So for example, you could put a pipe delimiter and that'll put one in between here for us. We can change the alignment to the left, center, or right. And if we want the mobile menu on or not. Under advanced, we have the list style. So I can change this to vertical or horizontal. We can edit the typography here. So for example, if I want this all uppercase, for example, I can select that. If I want it to be bold, I could do that as well. You could underline it. You have lots of different options here. I think I'll actually take the size down and I'll keep it uppercase. And I think that looks just fine. Let's go ahead and change this back to default. And that'll select our global CSS style from the fonts because this will override anything in the global CSS. We also have the text color, the hover color, shadow, more spacing. So for example, for the spacing, we have the margin. So the margin is on the outside of the element. The padding is on the inside of the element. So you could add, for example, 100, and that's padding on the inside. You can see the space between the orange, between the element. We put this back and use margin. You can see that there's 100 here outside of the element, not inside. And of course, we have the attributes and the device visibility. Let's go ahead and save our new header that we updated and we'll refresh the page. And there we can see our new logo with a couple text links here for our menu. Next, let's go ahead and update the main page here with all of the content. I'm going to exit out of here. So now I'm back where all of the list of the theme templates are, and we want to look for the home page, which is right here. I'm going to open this again in a new window. Now you don't have to open it in a new window. I just like having all of these files right here, and then I can work on each one individually. So now this is the same process. We can see our header file that we just updated, but now we're modifying everything between here and right here where the footer template is. So here we can come up and we can start with maybe the text here. I'll modify that and I'll just paste in some of the text from our SeedProd website. Now that's obviously way too big, so let's go ahead and bring that size down so it makes a little bit more sense for this example. We also have some text here. So I'll just click on this and we'll paste some text in here. And next we have our button here. Now again, all of the options are on the left hand side here, and you'll notice that they changed based on the type. So for example, the image is the same as our logo. So that's the image and then all of the options that we went through earlier. But then the text is not an image, right? So it has different options such as this, what you see is what you get text editor. You have alignment, font size, and different levels for the heading from H1 to 6. You might remember these from the global CSS video that we discussed. And then we have advanced options for typography, color, etc. Again, you can override the global settings by selecting a color on the block level. So this will override anything in the global CSS. If you want to use the global CSS options, come in here and just simply click on clear and it'll revert back to the global CSS option. Let's go ahead and select this button and we can change the text here, and we can add some subtext if we want underneath here. You can see that it's a little bit smaller text. I'm just going to leave that for now. And we are going to add a pricing page later on in the video series. So I will link this maybe to the pricing page, but for now I'm just going to leave it alone. We have the alignment, so I can make this centered, right, or full width if we wish. I think I like it on the left hand side. That's perfectly fine. And let's go for maybe a large button, or you could even go a 2x large button for something to really stand out. I think large is fine for this example. Let's just minimize this, and we have the icons. You can add one before or after. So let's go for after, and I'll just search for carrot, and let's go for maybe this one pointing to the right. So you can see this little arrow. We have templates here as well, so you can change the style of your button instantly just by clicking on one of these. Under advanced options, you have the typography, button style, background. All of it's pretty self-explanatory by this point. You can add text shadow, and then of course your spacing and device visibility. Over here on the right-hand side, we have our image. Let's go ahead and delete this, and I'm going to use my own image. Now I'm just going to select this image here, and I'll click on select. You can select any image that you wish, but I think this one works well. This is from our SeedProd website as well. Now if we scroll down, we have all of these different logos from different companies. Now let's say you don't want this section, you can just easily delete that. Again, this is your custom website. Even though it's a starter theme, you can customize it completely however you wish. Next, we have another section here. Let's go ahead and actually select the whole section. So not the rows or the blocks, but the actual section here, the purple one. And let's go ahead and actually change the background color a little bit to something different, maybe just a white so that there's some different contrast here. Or we could do maybe the same as that light gray color in the header, something similar. Let's see what that looks like. Good. So we can actually save this if you want to preview it on the front page as you work along as well. So here we go. We have our new header. We have the top section that we changed, and I did change the background, but it's so faint that you can barely notice there. So let's come back. We'll just make a quick update on that. Maybe I'll actually go just a little bit darker, and we'll save that and refresh. And there you go. You can see the contrast there. Now, I'm not sure if that's the color that I would actually go for, but I'm just trying to show you the example and the flexibility of the theme builder. You would go through and do the same thing. You could change the text here. You can change the size of it if you wanted something bigger or smaller. I might make that a little bit bigger. Here, this is an icon box block. You can see the name up here in the icon block. So it has an icon and the color, the size, and then down below you have the header text and then the content for the body text underneath it. You can just simply click on this, change the icon to whatever you want, and you can see that that's updated. And then you can come down, change your header and your body text. I think that's pretty straightforward enough that you should understand it at this point. Same here, we have another header that we can change, so you can just update the text. We have more body text here. And if we come down and select here, we have a testimonials block. So here it's a little bit different. We have one testimonial in here, so each one is individual, but you could actually create one big one as a slider. So for example, let's go ahead and we'll click the duplicate block here. Now I have two, and I'll just select this. I'm going to put it right above all of these other ones. Now I'm actually going to come down and I'm going to delete this whole row of all the testimonials. So I just have one here. I'm going to click the block settings. Now on the left-hand side, we can see the first testimonial that we have, and this has the quote, the person's picture, their name and title. Well, we can minimize this and add a second one, and we could add a third one, and you could just add the information for their pictures. And you'll notice right here that it has a slider. So instead of having one beside each other, which looks great as well, you have the option here as well to create a slider to go through each one. And you'll notice that it has the carousel settings here. So the color mode, if it's light or dark, it'll change the navigation. And if you want autoplay on, so I'll turn that to yes, and then it'll cycle through each one every 5 seconds. We also have the advanced options for the topography, color, name, and name color, some spacing options, attributes, and device visibility. Now you'll notice that this doesn't have the white background that we had before. So what we could do to set the background is we want to have a row here. So let's go ahead and duplicate this whole section, and we'll just delete what we don't want. So I'll just go through and delete some of this text and the dividers, and we can delete this block up top here. So now this is in its own row. See the blue? That wasn't there before. So now we can select the row settings and we can actually put a background color on this. And then you can come under advanced and then come down under border, and we have a border radius here. So we could add, for example, 15. That'll actually round off the corners here. So let's just save this and I'll show you what I mean. We'll reset, refresh the page, and you can see right here we have a white background on here. This will go through these and the corners are now rounded. Now we can continue to come down. Now this is the header. This is a body. We already know how to change those. Here we have another new block. This is accordion. So this just means it opens, and all of the options are really straightforward. You just add a new item. You can edit the current items if you wish by clicking on it, and you can change the font size, the space between, the icons used for the plus and minus, so the close or open. And if you come up, we have some advanced options here with all of the different options for colors, shadows, spacing, attributes, etc. And with the footer, I'm happy with that for this example. So let's go ahead and save this, and I think we're done with our front page right now. We can see the different colors that we added for the background, the headers, the button itself. Let's actually come back to the button because I don't think we changed the colors on that one. Let's go under advanced, and you can see that it's overriding the global CSS. Let's go ahead and clear that, and it'll now use that same orange from the global CSS with that black hover that we added earlier. Now we can go ahead and save this, refresh one more time, and there we can see everything is looking exactly how we wanted it. Once you're happy with everything, just make sure it is saved, and then you can close that window and come back to your files here. So next, if you wanted wanted to change, for example, your blog, here's your blog page, and this will list all of your different posts. I only have one post. This is the default Hello World. But if you come back, you'll see that we have a theme called Blog Index, Archives, and Search. And this one theme is used for all of those three sections. So we'll see that the conditions are set where this template will be used for the archives, the blog page, and search results. And the reason for that is that all three of those are very similar. So this is the blog, and then we have the categories, which uses the same template as well. And then we have the search here as well. So if we, for example, search for hello, we can see this is the exact same template being used for the archives and the search, and it'll show our hello world post here. So this is the one that we could come in and go to edit design, and we could change, for example, the text here for blog. You could, for example, say view our post below or whatever you want to change it to, your text. You could add images in here. You can add any of the blocks that come with SeedProd to make this design look however you want. You'll also notice that there's a sidebar here on the right hand side, so maybe you don't want that on all of these pages. We could just simply get rid of that and delete it if you wish. So the most important thing on this page is actually how the post will display. We can click on the block settings here, and this is the post block. Now this is pretty advanced where you have the options for your post query and your layout. So your post query, you can change this. Right now it's set to default. That's how WordPress will display everything. We have custom that we can set here. So by creating a custom query type, you can select exactly what you want to show on the blog post page or the archive page or the search pages. So for example, we only want to show all of the posts. We don't want to show media. Let's go ahead and select posts, but you could also create specific templates for every category that you have as well. So you could change the conditions of this to, for example, only show on a specific category such as dogs. So here you could select query by category, select dogs, and it would only show dog posts. If that's too overwhelming or if it's too much information for now, don't worry about it. There will be future tutorials to get into more advanced topics like that. We can do query by tags, query by authors, and the order by. So this is how we're ordering the post to show up. So right now we're doing it by date. You have date last modified, title, comment count, menu order. And if you want it to be ascending or in descending order, you also have the layout and tons of options for how many columns. So if you selected 2 columns or 3, you would have 3 posts here, or just the one that we have now. How many you want to show per page, if you want to show the featured image or not. This post doesn't have a featured image, but that's all right. If we want to show the title, so you could hide that if you like. You can change the title tag to an H1 or something else. If you want to show the meta information, if you want to show the author, whatever you want to show here, we have the date, the time, the comment count, lots and lots of different options here. You can even customize what it says here for the link. Right now it says read more with a little arrow here going to the right side. Once you're happy with everything, go ahead and click save and you can close this. Once I refresh the blog page or the search page, you can see that this text has been updated. And then lastly, we have the post itself. So this will be modified the exact same way as any other theme on your website. So if we come back to the theme templates, we can see here we have a theme called single post, and this is a page type, but the conditions are that it's applied to all posts. So this is for every individual post instead of the blog page that lists all of them and links to them. This is the actual post page itself. So for example, the hello world post. So we can see the title there, the date, the content of that actual post, the author, all of the comments, and everything else that you see on the page. So if we come to single post and edit the design, we can see that same layout here. Now it's showing a featured image here, but hello world doesn't have one. So let's make this a little bit easier. And I'll come over to the dashboard. We'll go to posts, all posts, and we have hello world here. I'll edit this. And on the right hand side, we have featured image. Let's set an image. And I'm just going to select, for example, a random image that doesn't really have anything to do with it. We'll update this and I'll close this. Now if I refresh, you'll see that this has a featured image attached to this specific post that it's showing. You come back to the builder, you can completely customize the order, the style, the colors, the backgrounds, everything that you want to show or not show. For example, let's say we don't want comments at all. Let's go ahead and just delete that whole section. We have a spacer here. We can get rid of that. Maybe you want to have the title above the image here. We can go ahead and do that. Same with the meta information. We can put that above. Now this is the actual content of the blog post. So this is where it's displaying here. And all of these are blocks on the left-hand side. So if we click on blocks here on the icon, these are template tags. This is our post title. which is here. We have our post content, which is right here. We have our featured image, which we can see right here. So again, if you want, for example, your post comments back, you could just drop that in and now you have comments here. Then you can click on the block settings, change the options here for how it looks. For example, you could add a different background, whatever you wish to do. I'm going to go ahead and delete this section again though. So there we go. Now that we've changed our layout a little bit, let's go ahead and save this. We'll refresh the page and you can see that that was updated instantly. Now again, I'm just trying to show you the functionality of the theme builder. The actual design here does not look very good, but we would spend more time on that if we were creating an actual website. So by this point, you should have a good understanding of how to import a starter theme, how to modify your header, add menus, change your global CSS, change the content on your actual theme, modify your blog archives and search pages, and update your post pages as well. Now this video probably ended up a little bit longer than I was expecting. We went through a lot of information there, so please check it out again if you need help to understanding any of these functionalities or terminology. Also, please feel free to post comments and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. From this point on, you should be set to go and create your own websites by using the starter themes. In the following videos, we're going to create our own themes from scratch, and I'll break down the videos by topics such as creating our header and footer templates, our homepage template, single page template, and much more. Again, if you missed the previous videos or you want to skip ahead to different videos, please check the links in the description or the playlist on the SeedProd channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.